Hello, I'm Vicki Blanton. Equal pay has become the mantra of recent months due to the continuing success of the four-time World Cup Championship U.S. women's soccer team, who has also notably sued its league for parity in pay to the men's soccer team. In understanding how the wage gap differs by gender in America, understand that on average, women receive 80 cents of every dollar that a man earns in America. For women of color, that number is much lower. And for African American women specifically, that number is 68 cents to every dollar. The U.S. women's soccer team, that number drops to 38 cents. And they had to win before they even got paid. How does that play out on a weekly basis? African American women earn about $100 less a week than white women. Over a lifetime of a career, a woman earns about $500,000 less, whereas women of color, that number grows exponentially to about $1 million less over a career. Median wealth, meaning the accumulation thereof, Caucasian women earn about a median wealth of $46,000, whereas for women of color, specifically African American women, that number drops to $100, about the cost of a manicure. So what can be done to close this gender wage gap? Certainly we could work and wait for societal changes to have parity and equality of men's work to women's work, legislative changes, or lawsuits. But that is slow-paced and long time in coming. I submit to you that there is something that you can do within your control that you can change right now, today. And that is simply to ask. The old mantra holds true: you have not because you ask not. Although we rarely speak in absolutes, study after study show that men almost always negotiate and women almost never do. So if you think about that, there's something that you can do in negotiating for increases in your pay. What tools do you need to do that? Well, the mantra that I think of is knowing the difference between my wealth, my worth, and my value. What is your worth? What is your value? What is your wealth? That seems all the same concept, but let me explain the differences. Your wealth is a simple mathematical equation, your assets minus your liabilities. To the extent those numbers cancel each other out, you're living paycheck to paycheck. And heaven forbid, if that's a negative number, that should certainly motivate you to move to know the next figure, which is, what is your worth? Your worth is an agreed upon amount. That's something you have to enter into discussion and work through with someone else. And it's also, what will you accept? By way of example, every day the currency markets open to determine what is the worth of a dollar in, say, the UK, Canada, Mexico. You need to know what your personal worth is by speaking to someone else. But before you start that conversation, the internal conversation of understanding your value. What is it that you intrinsically bring? What is it about you that would make someone want to pay you as opposed to someone else? And that's something that you have to work through and understand for yourself, because that number is non-negotiable. And that also helps to set the parameters for your discussions about your worth. My faith, my family, true friends, integrity, goodwill created by doing good deeds through good work, honesty, loyalty. Those are my value propositions. That's my value add. That's what I bring to the table when I sit down to speak with someone about my personal worth. And because I know my value, I can negotiate my worth and increase my wealth. And that's how you can close the gender wage gap.